It's time to start over. This is what differentiates successful people from people that get stuck and fail. The realization that it's time to start over. This is actually a natural occurrence in our life because our life is about seasons and cycles. And we are to take the lessons that we learned from the previous season, the previous version of ourself, and bring it into the next season. So we're not starting over from zero, but we're starting over the next chapter on our journey. If this message came up to your screen, it is a divine synchronicity, and it's very meaningful. Over the course of my life, I had to start over many times. And this was not a bad thing. In the ego, it seems scary to start over. Heck, I had to start my life over living in a new state, in a new location. And it's really part of our evolution and our ascension to leave the previous season, to leave the previous version of ourself behind. But we take what was important from those seasons. These seasons that we go through, they mold us, they shape us, we learn from them, but they are not our final resting place. Most people, because of the fear that comes with change, they tend to stay in a season. They might live in a location longer than they really should. They stay in a relationship when it's long overdue, it's long expired. They stay in a job when that job is actually stifling their growth. You know, the micro and the macrocosm, the world is starting over. And therefore, at the individual level, each and every one of us have to realize that it's time to start over. When you feel the inner shift, and it's quite uncomfortable, you will know when it's time. And in the modern era where people follow a script, people follow people on a TV that they're not a good representation of the life that you're living. You have to listen to yourself, and it's happening far and wide. It's time to start over, and when you go forward and you don't change and you refuse to change, it brings forth extinction. You know, I've shared over the past few years, humanity is on the brink of extinction. Do you know this? Well, you might see people that last the test of time. You know, I've seen many athletes, and some of those athletes, far later on in life, they're still doing it. And some people, they fold and they collapse because we have to constantly reinvent ourselves. And this is the frequency of the world right now. It's time to bring forth into reality the changes that have happened on the inside. You might be getting this message and you could say, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I went through a lot of internal shifts in the past few years. I don't feel comfortable in the job anymore. I don't feel like the relationship that you might be in, or maybe the type of relationship that you normally settled for. It can't be part of your life anymore. So when you have this realization that it's time to start over, and so many people are feeling it as the world really is starting over, it's good, because just like all animals have evolved, every species evolves, and at an individual level, over the course of our life, we get to a phase where we're going to have to give birth to the next version of who we are. Now, an animal doesn't get gaslit, it doesn't get guilt or shame when it's time to go through that change. But the human species, as powerful it is, it's pretty stupid as well. Are you? I think we're the only species that pays to live on this planet. Let me know down below. All right. So, like, for example, the caterpillar, it knows it's time to change into a butterfly. Otherwise, it cannot continue its life, and it will transform. It will go through the metamorphosis, right? And it doesn't go through it for no reason. The whole point of the pain, you might be getting this, and you went through a lot of pain, especially over the past year. Is that you? Well, you didn't go through that pain for no reason. And people just stop. You went through that because it's time to ascend. It's time to evolve. There's this hawk. It goes to the top of the mountain, and it breaks the beak off, an eagle, I believe. And it has to regrow the beak so that it could be nice and sharp and live a longer lifespan. Revitalized. Maybe you went through a time period where you had to go in isolation. Maybe you had to go up on top of the mountain. And maybe it felt like your body was falling apart. And maybe you had the aches and pains. And we kind of go through this as well. But for us to evolve, we didn't go through the pain for no reason. There's a reason for your season. And now it's time to start over. But we're not starting over from scratch. We're not starting over from zero. We're starting a new chapter. A new chapter of our everyday lives. And this new chapter, it comes from your imagination. It comes from your dreams. Your inner child. Your imagination is a representation of God. Where do you think you got all those beautiful ideas from, You are part of the universe, and you were tricked. You were tricked to feel like you're separate, but we're not separate. Now it's time to not hold your ideas in, but it's time to start anew. And when you get to this place, there are going to be fake friends. There's going to be maybe family members. There's going to be NPCs that pop up out of nowhere. And they're going to try to talk you out of it. It's time for you to start over. And you are growing and expanding beyond the normal person. And this is going to make many people feel very uncomfortable. But if you stop, you never give birth, you never experience what you came here for. You did not go through all the pain in the previous season for nothing. But so many people, they go through the process and then they stop. Nikola Tesla, he did manifestation. He had his vision. He wrote it down, his inventions on paper. That might be your vision board. And then it came time for him to build his invention. He didn't stop on the paper. And this is why you might say, Uncle Mike, why do so many people, there's so many people on the internet, right? There's so many people sharing and all this information is there. And how come people are still failing left and right? And the answer is fear. A lot of people stop at the paper. A lot of people stop. They go through the process and then they don't actually start over. For you to actually start over physically in the world, a new job, a new mindset, reinventing yourself, you had to go through the shift. And once it comes time that the training wheels come off, people just freeze and they don't actually do. Today's message is going to help inspire you. And this is something that everyone in the world is feeling right now. Oh, why is everyone feeling it? Oh, I'll tell you, Light Warriors, because we're all connected to a frequency. Nikola Tesla called it the ether. And when you have these feelings, right, something that's changing on the inside, you have this urge to maybe do something you've never done before. Maybe you're a single person and you're called for a specific relationship with a specific person. And you don't know why, right? But it's your heart and soul calling you. You might have did a job and you were this type of job, a 9 to 5 kind of guy, right? And now you have to let go. You have to let go. I had to let go of the golden handcuffs. Some of us have the golden handcuffs, right? You're gonna get your money to your retirement, right? But you're trapped there, and you have to leave that safety and security where the training wheels come off, and it's time to start over. But most of the time in life, your previous season gave you the skills. God gave you the training grounds. God gave you the proving grounds. And you were fine-tuning your skills, right? Here, there you go, fine-tuning your skills. And now it's time. Now it's time to step on stage. Now it's time to show the world your skills. So even though you did a job or you have the certain life path, your identity has shifted, and therefore what you do in the world is going to shift. Maybe you're a person, maybe health was not your top priority, or maybe you ran a subconscious program. Oh, I'm always in pain, or maybe I'm always out of shape or overweight, or I can't do it. And then something changes on the inside. And it has to be a mindset. And this is how you become successful. And then it's time for you to start your wellness journey. And, I have a lot of friends, health and wellness is one of the main things that I share with everyone, because everything follows that. If you feel good, your work's going to improve. You're going to be great in relationships. So you're going to always want to work on yourself. You want to be healthy, and you want to be thinking sharp. Detoxification is so important. And in a modern era with, all the chemicals and the toxins in the world, a lot of people, they're not thinking clearly, right? And it's time for you to think clearly and feel deeply. Many people are cut off from their intuition, and especially our men. And when you are tapped in, intuition is considered feminine. And remember that these are energies. So if you are a man, you want to be able to tap in to those feminine energies, even though it's considered that. It doesn't mean it's only for women. And that is going to differentiate you. And that's going to actually get you a better woman in your life, brother. Because you're going to attract through a frequency someone that is equally yoked. So if you're a person and you feel very strongly, now is the time to come out of your shell. Now is the time. You're not healing forever. Some people say, oh, I'm healing. And they just sit in that season forever. And they get caught in a loop. Or a lot of people, they're watching other people live their life, and they just watch it on the screen. It's very sad world that we live in. So many people are tapped into screens, and they're watching other people live their life, but they're not actually getting out and living their life and becoming the best that they can be. So today, you want to really focus on what you can accomplish, and not just watch someone else live their life, but what can you do today? You see these people in this relationship, you see this person, they're doing this job. And it's difficult in the beginning. In science, this is called activational energy. It takes a lot of energy to get that fire started, if you will. So the first step in anything, making the change, that moment, it's a catalyst event. It takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of strength. And I hope that this message inspires you to do that change and not continue the loop. Because I know that there's a lot of people, and they said, you know what, it got really intense the past year, maybe for you, really been intense post-2020. And it got you to reflect on your life. And then you start looking at your life, and you weren't able to see these things before. But until you see your life and you actually can see the loop going round and round, then you're able to make a change. And I feel that a lot of people are ready to make that change. I hope that this message inspires you, because this energy is palpable right now. And you'll see a lot here on this channel. So if this message, and you made it all the way to the end, I'm so grateful. And I'm grateful if you hit the like button and click the subscribe button. We have daily videos 9 a.m. Eastern time to help you become the greatest version of yourself. It's time to start over. And what are you going to do today to start over your new journey, your new mission, the new chapter of your life? Remember, when you're starting over, you're not starting over from zero, but you're taking what you learned in the past, you leave the negative behind, you take what was going to be carried forward into the next season, and then you birth something new. And that is going to come from your imagination. So I appreciate you all. And we have daily videos here. We have Facebook, TikTok, Patreon, Instagram. Utilize the hashtag #OurEverydayLives. This is just the beginning, kid. And every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. And the end of one chapter brings on the beginning of a new chapter. But what you need is the inexhaustible belief in yourself to cause that catalyst event. Because so many people, they've gone through the pain, they've gone through the inner shifts, and the reason why they fail in life, because they never actually did. They went through the pain, they went through the process, but they didn't actually start over. Today, make the move and start over. Your new chapter begins now. I am the defender of our everyday lives. No matter what comes your way, Light Warriors, just keep going.